You wake up, check your phone, scroll through endless content, go to work, come home, watch Netflix, and repeat. Sound familiar? If you feel something fundamental is missing from your life, like you're going through the motions but not living, you're not alone. You're experiencing what philosophers and psychologists call the greatest crisis of our time, the meaning crisis. But here's what's shocking. Ancient philosophers predicted this problem over 2,000 years ago, and they left us a roadmap to solve it. I'm Brian, and in the next 30 minutes, I will show you why modern life feels so empty, how we got here, and most importantly, how ancient wisdom can help you build a life that matters. We're living through something unprecedented in human history. For the first time, we have access to infinite information, endless entertainment, and more material comfort than any generation before us. Yet rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide are skyrocketing. Young people report feeling more isolated and purposeless than ever. This isn't just a personal problem, it's a civilizational crisis. Psychologist John Vervaeke calls it the meaning crisis, affecting millions worldwide. But what's fascinating is that this exact scenario was predicted by ancient philosophers who understood something about human nature that we've forgotten. The Stoics, Buddhists, and existentialist thinkers all warned that people become spiritually empty when societies become too focused on external pleasures and lose touch with deeper purposes. They called it different names, but described the same phenomenon we're experiencing today. Section 1. Understanding the modern meaning of crisis. The 4 pillars of meaning we've lost. Ancient philosophers identified 4 essential elements that give life meaning, and modern society has systematically undermined each one. First, purpose beyond ourselves. Traditional societies gave people clear roles and purposes that connected them to something larger. You were a farmer feeding your community, a craftsman creating beauty, a parent raising the next generation. Today, many people work jobs that feel disconnected from any meaningful impact. We've replaced purpose with productivity, meaning with metrics. Second, coherent worldview. Our ancestors had comprehensive stories about reality, religious, philosophical, or cultural narratives that explained their place in the universe. These worldviews provided frameworks for understanding suffering, death, and moral choices. Today, we live in what philosophers call narrative fragmentation. We have access to thousands of competing worldviews, but no coherent story to live by. Third, community and belonging. Humans evolved in tight-knit tribes where everyone knew their role and felt genuinely needed. Modern individualism, while giving us freedom, has also created unprecedented isolation. We have more connections than ever through social media, but fewer deep, meaningful relationships. Fourth, transcendent experiences. Ancient cultures built regular practices for experiencing something beyond the mundane, through ritual, ceremony, meditation, or contemplation of nature. These experiences reminded people that life contains mystery and beauty beyond material concerns. Today, we've replaced mainly transcendence with entertainment and consumption. The digital amplification effect. Technology hasn't created the meaning crisis, but has amplified it dramatically. Social media creates what psychologists call compare and despair. We constantly measure our inner reality against others' curated highlights. Dating apps turn relationships into a marketplace. News cycles create artificial urgency about things we can't control. Most dangerously, digital technology hijacks our attention, the very faculty we need to reflect on meaning and purpose. Ancient philosophers understood that meaning emerges from contemplation, but we live in constant distraction. Section 2. Ancient Solutions for Modern Problems. The Stoic Framework. Control and Character. The Stoics faced their version of the meaning crisis when the Roman Republic collapsed and traditional values crumbled. Their solution was radical. Find meaning not in external circumstances, but in how you respond to them. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics taught that meaning comes from developing character, practicing virtue, and focusing on what you can control. Modern application. Instead of seeking meaning through career success, relationship status, or social media validation, all things largely outside your control, focus on becoming the person you respect. Ask yourself daily, how can I respond to today's challenges with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline? The Buddhist insight. Suffering and acceptance. Buddhism emerged from Prince Siddhartha's confrontation with the meaning crisis of his time. Despite having every material pleasure, he felt profoundly empty. His solution was to understand that suffering comes from attachment to impermanent things. The Buddhist path doesn't eliminate suffering, but transforms our relationship to it. When you stop expecting life to be perpetually pleasant and start accepting it as it is, you find a more profound peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. Modern application. Practice what Buddhists call loving kindness toward reality. When you experience disappointment, loss, or frustration, instead of fighting it or numbing it, ask, what is this experience trying to teach me? How can I grow from this? The Existentialist Revolution. Creating your meaning. When Nietzsche declared God is dead, he wasn't celebrating. He was warning about the meaning crisis that would follow. Existentialists like Sartre, Camus, and Frankl argued that humans must create their meaning in a universe without a predetermined purpose. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps, discovered that people could endure almost any suffering if they found meaning in it. He observed that prisoners who maintained a sense of purpose, whether reuniting with family, completing important work, or helping fellow prisoners, were more likely to survive. Modern application. Stop waiting for life to hand you purpose. Instead, ask, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? What problems do I feel called to solve? What would I regret not attempting? Then, commit to that direction, regardless of external validation. The philosophical practice of memento mori. Ancient philosophers regularly contemplated death, not to be morbid, but to clarify what truly matters. When you remember that your time is limited, trivial concerns fade away, and essential priorities become clear. The Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining the loss of things they valued to appreciate them more fully and prepare mentally for inevitable change. This wasn't pessimism, but realism that led to gratitude and urgency about meaningful action. Modern application. Spend 5 minutes each morning reflecting. If this were my last year alive, how would I spend today differently? What relationships would I prioritize? What would I stop worrying about? Let mortality be your teacher, not your enemy. Building a meaning-centered life. The three-tier meaning architecture. Based on ancient wisdom and modern psychology, Here's a practical framework for building sustainable meaning. Tier 1, daily practices, micro-meaning. Morning intention setting. Start each day by asking, how can I serve something larger than myself today? Evening reflection. End each day by reviewing, what did I learn? How did I grow? What am I grateful for? Mindful transitions. Use moments between activities to reconnect with your deeper purposes instead of automatically reaching for your phone. Tier 2, relationships and service, meso-meaning. Deep connection. Prioritize quality time with people who matter. Ancient philosophers understood that meaning emerges through genuine relationships. Service orientation. Find ways to contribute to others' well-being. This doesn't require grand gestures. Small acts of kindness and competence create meaning. Mentorship. Both teaching and learning from others connect you to the larger human story. Tier 3, life direction and legacy, macro-meaning. Values. Clarification. Identify your core values through reflection, not social conditioning. What principles would you defend even at personal cost? Mission development. Craft a personal mission statement that connects your unique abilities to meaningful problems. Legacy thinking. Consider how you want to be remembered and what you want to contribute to future generations. The digital detox strategy. Ancient philosophers practiced what we might call attention training, deliberately choosing where to focus mental energy. In our digital age, this is more crucial than ever. Weekly digital Sabbath. Choose one day per week to disconnect from all non-essential technology. Use this time for reflection, nature, relationships, and activities that require sustained attention. Mindful consumption. Before engaging with any media, ask, will this help me become who I want to be? Does this serve my deeper purposes? Consume information like medicine, only what you need for health and growth. Presence practice. Throughout the day, practice returning attention to the present moment. Ancient philosophers understood that meaning is only available in the now, not in mental time travel to past regrets or future anxieties. Addressing common obstacles. But I don't know what my purpose is. This is the most common objection, and ancient philosophers had a surprising answer. You don't find your purpose, you develop it through action. Aristotle taught that we discover nature by exercising our capacities, not pure contemplation. Start with what psychologists call adjacent possible. Small steps toward things that interest you. Volunteer, take classes, and have conversations with people doing work you admire. Purpose emerges through engagement, not analysis. But modern life is too complex for ancient solutions. While the external circumstances have changed, human nature remains remarkably consistent. We still need purpose, community, growth, and transcendence. The ancient frameworks are flexible enough to adapt to any era because they address universal human needs. The Stoics dealt with political upheaval, economic uncertainty, and social change. Buddhists developed their practices during times of war and cultural transformation. Existentialists emerged from the chaos of the two world wars. These philosophies were forged in crisis and tested by adversity. But what if I'm wrong about my meaning? Existentialists say this question misses the point. There's no external authority to validate your choices. That's both the terror and the freedom of human existence. The goal isn't to find the correct meaning, but to live authentically according to your deepest values. As Sartre wrote, we are condemned to be free. This means taking responsibility for your choices without guarantees, and recognizing that this responsibility makes life meaningful. Integration and future vision. The post-crisis possibility. Here's what's hopeful about our current situation. Crises often precede profound growth and renewal periods. The collapse of old certainties creates space for new wisdom to emerge. We see this in the growing interest in meditation, philosophy, and ancient wisdom traditions. People are recognizing that technological solutions alone can't address existential problems. We need what the ancients called wisdom, integrating knowledge with a practical understanding of how to live well. Building meaning-centered communities. Individual meaning-making is essential, but it's not sufficient. Humans are social beings who need communities organized around shared purposes. We're beginning to see the emergence of new forms of community philosophical discussion groups, service organizations, and intentional neighborhoods that prioritize meaning over mere convenience or entertainment. The integration challenge. The task for our generation is integration, taking the best insights from ancient wisdom traditions and combining them with modern knowledge about psychology, neuroscience, and social dynamics. We don't need to choose between ancient and contemporary approaches. We need to synthesize them. This means using scientific methods to test philosophical practices, applying ancient wisdom to contemporary challenges, and creating new traditions that serve individual flourishing and collective well-being. Your meaning-making journey starts now. Here's your challenge for the next 7 days. Choose one practice from today's discussion and commit to it completely. Whether it's morning intention setting, evening reflection, or weekly digital Sabbath, pick something and do it consistently. But more importantly, start asking different questions. Instead of, "What do I want?" ask, "What does life want from me?" Instead of, "How can I be happy?" ask, "How can I be useful?" Instead of, "What's wrong with the world?" ask, "What can I contribute?" The ancient philosophers understood something we're rediscovering. Meaning isn't something you find. It's something you create through how you choose to live. Every day, every decision, every interaction is an opportunity to build a life that matters. If this video helped you think differently about meaning and purpose, hit that like button and subscribe for more content exploring how ancient wisdom can transform modern life. Leave a comment sharing one insight that resonated with you. I read every comment and often feature the best insights in future videos. Remember, you have more power to create meaning than you realize. The philosophers who came before us faced their versions of the meaning crisis and found ways through. Their wisdom is available to you right now. The only question is, what will you do with it?